Hello, this is Stacy from trulymajestic.com. Today we are making a foolproof, never ever fail kebab recipe. This one will never fall apart on you. It will always stick together. It will always be juicy if you do these tips. So the recipe is down in the description along with the link to make a yogurt drink and some other recipes as well. So while I'm grating onion, let's get started with the tips. First of all, when you grate the onion, you will have a lot of onion juice. All onions are different. Some are more dry, some are juicier. If your onion is very dry, there is no need to squeeze out the juice. You can just put the whole thing in with your mince. If it's really, really juicy and it's just dripping with juice, you need to probably take at least half of the juice out of it just by giving it a good squeeze over the sink. Tip number 2, the type of mince you use. It's very important to use mince that has fat in it, so at least 15 to 20% fat. So I've mixed a little bit of lean beef, as you can see in the picture, with my lamb mince, and you can do that too. If you use all beef mince, your kebab will be a bit more tough, and you definitely don't want to use the lean meat because it won't stick together and it'll be really, really tough. So I've just mixed about a quarter of my lean beef mince with my lamb mince. You can mix different ratios. Anything is fine, just as long as you definitely still have a lot of fat. My next tip is, number 3 is keep your mince in the fridge until you are ready to use it because it needs to be really, really cold. If it's not really cold, the fat from the mince will start sticking to your bowl, and then that leaves you with a problem of all the good fat that makes it so nice and juicy and stick together so well is now on your bowl instead of in your meat. So I've just squeezed the onion out. You can see how it is now. It's still got juice in it. You can still squeeze it out, but it's not absolutely pouring juice out. If your kebab is freezing cold, like even partially frozen in the center, you can beat it with the end of something. So I have a rolling pin here that I'm going to be beating it, kind of mixing it with. And that works great, but you have to mix it with your hands in the end for a while. So I'm just adding some fenugreek, some yellow curry seasoning, and some red tandoori seasoning, as well as salt. You don't have to do these. You can just do onions and salt, and it tastes absolutely wonderful. Okay, and the final tip to always have perfect mince kebab or kofte kebab is to really mix it a lot with your hands in the end not just till it comes all together. That's not good enough. You need to go at least another 2 minutes to really get it to stick together so it is like one solid mass. And if you need bread, you'll understand kind of when that comes together, but if you don't, you just need to at least do 2 minutes of gentle kneading and it will all start coming together. So I'm going to use the rolling pin here because this meat is just freezing my fingers off. So until I get the basic bits all mixed in, I'm using this, and then I'll go back in with my fingers again. One last thing to help your kebab not stick to your skewers is to just run your skewers under cold water, not hot water. Run them under cold water so they're just a little bit wet when you stick the meat to them. Your meat must be kneaded well. If it's not, it won't stick together and you won't be able to shape it on your skewers. So if you follow all of those, your kebabs will never ever fall apart. They will never fail. You will never need to add breadcrumbs to them. So we have to have enough fat. You need your meat to be very cold. In fact, if you pop the glass bowl or whatever bowl you're using in the fridge or in the freezer, this also helps keep the meat cold. Because by the time I finished mixing all this, my glass bowl was at room temperature. I have actually, you can see on the bottom, some of the fat is starting to stick to the bowl. So if I would have popped the bowl in the fridge first, then I wouldn't have that problem at the end, which wasn't really a problem because it was only a little tiny bit. So enough fat, make sure your meat is cold. Make sure you don't have too much onion juice or it will end up just totally destroying your meat and basically pickling it and it'll fall apart and look terrible. So you want to squeeze some of the juice of the onions out, unless you have a dry onion. And the end was just make sure you knead it enough, which I'm doing here, and you'll see how it looks in the end. And also wet your skewers, run them under cold water before you put the meat on. Those tips will always have perfect kebabs turning out.
Kebab.